Miss Head here with Mrs. Jones, my mentor. We're about to get started on Standard 1, Student Learning, Evaluation, and Rubric Grading.
Okay, so I was looking at the video, and there were a couple of things I was looking for with the within the instruction. So with one of the elements, understanding learning, I was looking for the objective to be posted, but also stated. I know that you said initially that they were going to learn how to do expanded notation. So because that had not been taught to them, I was looking for a definition for expanded notation as opposed to just, oh, we're going to expand it. Like a definition for them to refer to, and then a model for them to see before they actually got into the work, for them to understand it. Because we can say expand all day long, but if they don't understand what that means, then when we continue to say it, it's not going to help them to move forward. So I was looking for a definition in expanded form, and I was looking for students to talk more. I saw a lot of you leading what they were doing, but I didn't see a lot of them being able to vocalize what it was so that you can see whether or not they're internalizing the vocabulary that goes along with writing and expanded notation, that vocabulary that goes along with writing in place value, with the place value places, but also understanding that 4 in the tens place is 4 tens or 40. I wanted to hear more of that language because that also gives you a glimpse into whether or not the students actually understand the work. Like having the students read the number. So like there was a lot. You would say put this number in the place value chart, and then write the number in expanded form, and then write it in word form. But I wanted to hear them say what the number was. So yeah, like the first one was 176. So for them to say this is 176, okay, we're gonna write it in expanded form, and then they're gonna write it in. So if they're saying it, then I know that they know how to read the numbers 1 and 2. That they won't make the mistake of putting it in the place value chart wrong and going from there. That was I was looking to hear more of them speaking as opposed to the teacher leading it, because when they lead, they rely more on the teachers, what the teacher's saying, as opposed to them actually using the language. And at that point, they can participate more into the discourse. And then, I was noticing one other thing. So there was a point where the kids were like handshaking each other for like 2 minutes, and the thing is, it was that you were giving feedback to one student, which is great, but having a cognizance of the other students around them. So like while you're still giving them feedback, you're still checking in. Like if it's like a hand right here, or like a quick look over and glance over, you could cut down on some of that, because I know that one of your goals was for you to be able to do behavior management, and so that's a part of it. Even though they're right in front of you and they're not being like totally disruptive, it's still managing their behaviors, and what off-task behavior looks like was kind of like that 2 minutes of them handshaking and high-fiving. So continue to check in with students individually, but also have if they are required to talk more within the teacher led, you can cut down on some of that down there too, and writing directly on the table, as opposed to writing on the chalkboard. So the chalkboard you could use.
Yeah, I know that, but it's like when I write it, it's like backwards, and it's like
right,
not
so
really.
Even if you don't do that, we use a so I can write upside down for them because we've been doing it for a while. But if you can't, you can still, if you have like a place value chart right here, or you have a whiteboard that you can write it in front of them.
So don't use that chalkboard.
Use that chalkboard to post maybe the objective. Yeah, because you have to take the little seconds that it takes for you to get up, do that, for them to show it. It's so many places where the students' eyes have to follow, as opposed to now they have to look down here, they have to look up here, they have to look down here, look down here. They have to take the information too many places. If you have it in one location, then it'll cut down on where the students' attention have to be. And you'll get more out of them when you do that. So if you're writing, you can write it in front of them and see it, so it's still down here. The flow of work is still down here, as opposed to up here and then down here. Do it in front of them, but then allow them to explain the work, not you, because you can't. If you're explaining the work, you can't get whether or not they're understanding, because you're constantly explaining the work to them. You need to, in order for you to address possible misunderstandings, you have to hear from them, and their misconceptions might come out with their explanations. So I didn't see. We could like because of the way the tablet was, I couldn't see what they were writing. I could only hear what you were saying, but not hear their voices. You'll see that in impact, we're looking for what the students' outcomes are. So they're looking for the students to talk more and not the teacher. The teachers are more of a facilitator of the discussion. The students engage in a discussion between peer to peer or or student to teacher. So like there was a lot more teacher talk than there was student talk. So I'm going to say I don't know whether it's like between a 1 and a 2 for the student understanding and learning because I didn't hear much of what they were saying. Like I wanted to hear them more because I don't know what they understood besides you saying it what there was. Like I couldn't see what they wrote.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I say. I could see them like from the work that like, with me just observing what they were doing. So maybe I can try to move the camera.
Yeah, so if you do
if I could use this, I think it'll probably be better.
Yep, and then face it
like the table.
Yep, and face it more toward the students and not you, because the direction. So when I'm looking at whether or not it's a great lesson, it's not what the teacher's saying; it's what the students' outcomes are.
Okay.
So like have it face the students so that we can see what the students writing, we can see what the students saying, and have the student talk more so you can hear what they're saying. Because if it's teacher led, then like I can't do much more with it.
I wonder how hard that's going to be to because they're normally showing their work on that table. And sometimes I have them, I got these at the teacher land station too, so they can put their place value charts and everything like that. But would I have to, move the camera, back and forth? Is that going to be, distracting?
No, but if a camera, let's say a camera's right there.
Okay.
I can see.
It will be able to see.
Yeah, I can see what students are writing. I can also see whether or not you're checking in to see whether there's a misunderstanding or there's something written wrong. I can hear from what you're saying to see whether you're checking in and see whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
So that was what. So I'm kind of stuck in between the insufficient or the basic. That's so I guess a 1.5. I guess I don't know. In that area, because it says a candidate has limited knowledge of how learning occurs and it limits his or her development of instructional strategies to promote student learning. So I want to know what. So it's more like a 2. It's more of a 2 for this one. I want to know what the students are learning as opposed to what the teacher's saying. So I got to hear more of the students, and that's the reason. Because again, it's all about the student outcomes. It's about what they're learning.
Well, the lesson was expanded form. Yeah, just basically a standard form and written form is what I do in the lesson, and I can see that they were learning that. But I guess translating it for you.
Yeah, because, not just for me, just for anybody who would come and ask the students.
Because if they're executing it, that's not just they
enough.
Have to talk about
it. They have to speak about it because...
They have to be able to explain it to somebody
else. Yes,
right?
because in Common Core, when you're teaching students with Common Core, you got to understand that it's more about the process as opposed to getting the right answer. So... and with that, right... And so that's what I was talking about, the different modes. So I would say right now it's insufficient. So it would be a 1 for being able to meet the students' different needs. Because it was only presented in a verbal as opposed to the visual. So we need, ultimately you want to have all 3. The tactile, kinesthetic, visual,
just
auditory.
Carry it with me. I just got to have it.
Yeah, have it with you. Or, have it up there. So you want to have them touch on it. Sometimes... Yeah, and if for students who may not have gotten what it means to have 4 tens, maybe you have the base 10 blocks. All right, this is 4 tens, so we know this is 4 tens, which is 40. So you have the place value charts. That's a visual and a tactile kinesthetic because they have to write it and they have to touch it. Then the manipulatives, which is tactile. Then you have the visual, which would be the example
model.
Up there, the model, the objective, the vocabulary words, and then you're speaking the same language that you see on there, so that would be audio. So those are 4 different modalities in which you're now engaging in a multi-sensory approach. So you want to make sure you get all of those in there, or as many as you can that are appropriate during a lesson. So that's there. I think This one is a 2 for readiness for learning. So you recognize students' readiness for learning, but you're unsure how to help individual students move higher. Again, that's that checking in with the students and then also engaging with them in all of the modalities that are appropriate for these students. Again, there were some who needed the visual examples. We didn't see that there yet. So I'm looking for the growth in that area, and then developmentally appropriate instruction. It was definitely developmentally appropriate, so I'll give it a 3 because it's 4th grade level instruction, which made sense in that group. So that was a 3. And then collaboration. You use Clash Dojo. If we saw it a little more consistently, so we'll say limited, so that'll be a 2. If it's moved to the next station. So
cool. Okay, I understand all my scores except for like development appropriate, because I want to know like what you have to do to go the extra mile. Or
so they're at the grade level, but again, pushing it to being developmentally appropriate also means that you're providing whatever they need within the moment. So again, that's the multi-sensory approach.
So when all those come up.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
No problem.